Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, a closer look at the new position of Arizona Lieutenant Governor. And also tonight, the latest on NASA's rush to intercept a falling space telescope. Stories and more next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your public television station.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Arizona gubernatorial candidates will have lieutenant governor running mates on the ballot in this November's general election. That's a first for the state. Voters approved the new position by 10 percentage points in 2022. Republican candidate Congressman Andy Biggs has already announced that former state lawmaker Sina Kerr will be his running mate. Governor Katie Hobbs has yet to make her choice, but reports are that former Mesa Mayor John Giles will likely be the governor's choice. That said, how important is this position? What are the duties and responsibilities waiting for the state's first lieutenant governor? Joining us now is political consultant Chuck Coughlin, president of High Ground, and political consultant Stacey Pearson, co-founder of Lumen Strategies. Good to have you both here. Thanks so much for joining us. All right, we're going to start with you first, Stacey.
All right.
Oh, yeah, so Arizona's going to have a lieutenant governor here. I mean, it just seems like this kind of snuck up on everybody. Were people paying attention to this?
No. Folks were not paying attention at all. And on paper, it looked like a really good idea, right? We need a succession plan. We've always had one. It was the Secretary of State. And so now I think there is a scramble to figure out what this job really is and what it means and how it's going to contribute to the state.
That's what we want to talk about here. But Chuck, I mean, in 2022, it passes. Everyone's kumbaya. It's 1994, 2010. Voters said they didn't want this. What changed?
Well, that was Jan Brewer's initiative. Jan put that on the ballot when she was in the legislature. And then that didn't pass. And so then she becomes Secretary of State and Janet leaves and she becomes the governor.
Yes.
So J.D. Mesnard, the senator from Chandler who just finished his term, sponsored a bill and an HCR and put it on the ballot. And then the voters, because this has happened a lot in Arizona.
Yes.
And so I think I think when Ducey finished his term, he was the first governor in since the 60s, early 60s, to actually finish his term. So,
but why did it take so long for Arizona? Why did we not have this previously?
Oh, Arizona's so weird. We really are just the most defiant state. And regardless of party, we want small government. We want people to be productive. We underpay these positions. So we're in an extraordinarily difficult position for recruiting and retaining qualified folks in state government. And so, I think it's been years in the making.
Yeah, and I mean, it is a real problem when you go from a Democrat, as Janet Napolitano was a Democrat, to Jan Brewer, Republican. And so it made sense, and it finally passed because you don't want to have, as we did in 2010, you had a massive transition of party, of all ownership of state government, all the way up and down the ladder. So I think people finally, and I'll say this, we've become a bit more partisan, if you haven't noticed, that people are attuned to these things. So I think that's the weight that carried this forward.
All right, the responsibilities of the lieutenant governor. Stacey, what are they?
Don't mess up. Don't embarrass the governor. I mean, regardless of what the actual day-to-day is, it is to be a really good number two. It's to fill in for where she's not. It's to cover areas of the state she doesn't have strength. It's to get another set of feet at the ribbon cuttings and the groundbreakings. It's very much ceremonial.
And basically second in command, Chuck. It's second in command.
So JD I talked to him the other day in anticipation of this. I'm like, so what's the drill? And he goes, well, you can be the chief of staff. That's in the bill. Or you could be the head of the Department of Administration, which is the guts of state government. Yep. You could appoint that. Or any other appointed position that she can appoint.
Yes.
And that's her appointment. And so, I said to JD yesterday, John Giles is a lawyer. I said, could he be your general counsel? He goes, I don't think so. He goes, because he would have to have some other appointed job that he would be able to fill.
If, let's say, the appointment is made, okay.
Right.
There is no Senate confirmation here. The appointment is made, done deal.
Correct.
Okay.
And even weirder,
Yes.
there is no procedure for accepting the appointment. And so there are some cleanups that have to happen. So theoretically, the governor could announce Barack Obama as a running mate, and there's
Right.
no procedure for him to say no.
Yes.
And so this is all, there are some technical issues that I think are going to have to get hammered out.
and that was interesting today. You know, the rumor was it was going to be Giles, who's a Republican, former Republican Mesa mayor, right? Well, came out today. Hey, he's not a Republican anymore. He switched his party allegiance to being independent.
Well, he spoke at the convention, Democratic convention.
He did.
I mean,
he
you know,
did. But we checked last week. I checked earlier this week. I
Yeah.
had my firm check. And as far as we could go back into the record, he was still an independent.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean, because I think he switched in May. And so we wouldn't have seen that in the file.
Is there a line of succession for lieutenant governor?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, assume it goes to Secretary of State then, right? I mean, we're talking the designated survivor type.
Yes.
Like,
I didn't want to put it that way, but now that you mention it, yeah.
yeah, I'm assuming it goes to Secretary of State.
I don't know. That's
Does anyone know? I mean, is this one of those things where, oops?
I'm sure there could be some conjectures. We could put some money on this and Polymarket and see what
Yeah.
we could get.
Yeah, because I wonder. Okay, lieutenant governor has to be from the same party, or obviously not, because if John
The latter.
Giles were still Republican, is he Democrat now or independent?
Independent.
Okay, so he doesn't have to be from the same party.
Correct. And this is a very interesting strategy, assuming that former Mayor Giles is the nominee or is the choice. This really is a big tent strategy. It's trying to get the moderate Republicans who have rejected Arpaio and MAGA extremism and really bringing her coalition together.
Is it a good strategy?
I believe it is. I mean, come on, the second largest part of the electorate are independent and unaffiliated voters. They will constitute somewhere upward of 28 to 30% of the electorate this fall. If she can say, I'm a Democrat, he's not, and I think that's an opportunity to spread the tent pegs out and give an invitation to somebody. And John, let's be honest, John was a mayor. I mean, he was a nonpartisan mayor of the second largest city, I think, in the state, and so he had a reputation. He did this thing on YouTube where he'd go have lunch, have things with the mayor,
yes.
have dinner with the
Yes.
mayor, breakfast with the mayor. He went all across the state. He's a very charming guy, and he gets along with people really well.
And he brings in a little bit of that East Valley Andy Biggs territory, does he not?
He does. And so goes that area of the county, so goes the state. I mean, you can predict statewide winners by way of Mesa, Chandler, Gilbert. Those, particularly the LDS community, the Mormon moms, they really have a lot of control over what happens in statewide politics. They're reliable voters, they're educated voters, they're tuned in.
Yes.
They know what they're voting for.
So historically, this is an interesting. We brought this up the other day in our old people shop. Was Russell Pierce?
Yeah. Yes.
So the church was heavily involved with that recall effort back in the day.
Interesting.
And that was John, and that was John Lewis, and that was several other people who were involved out there and have continued on in this life. And so it does have that LDS, because we do know the LDS church has this social commitment, has a social contract with its community to be able to be a support of those. And that's not necessarily reflected in the Republican Party anymore. And then I get back into Stacey's Maricopa County comment.
Yes.
62% of the electorate's in Maricopa County in a statewide election. So you win inside the 101, 202 Beltway,
Yeah.
as Cinema proved that she could do. That's a statewide win.
I didn't realize the LDS Church was that much involved in Russell Pierce, because that was,
Yes.
I remember that. That was a lot of hoo-ha going on there.
It was, yeah, and that community has rejected this racist, anti-immigrant rhetoric without fail.
Well, and I was going to ask about, sticking with you, Stacey, so let's get to Congressman Biggs. He's got Seneca, former state lawmaker. She's more rural, she's more water and agriculture oriented than Congressman Biggs, who represented one area and really not a statewide office. So she gets some of that name. But, I mean, doesn't he have that rural area and agricultural farmer vote anyway?
I would assume. I mean, that it definitely leans red and certainly leans Trumpy, and Biggs has not distanced himself from the president. And so I thought it was very interesting that his running mate actually talked about the fact that Trump lost the 2020 election in Arizona. So I'll be interested to see if she stays off that page with him.
And the other thing they stepped into, because she was a big ag supporter at the legislature, she was one of the principal opponents of a groundwater management plan for Greater Arizona. And so one would ask, because they brought this up it's like, what's your role going to be on the water side? And the Biggs campaign touted that her experience with the ag industry and water, that's a huge deal, particularly after last week's news, where the federal government is telling us, oh, by the way, you're going to face massive cuts.
She also was very much in the forefront as far as abortion legislation was concerned. Is that the kind of thing, or has abortion been moved off the front page a little bit?
I think abortion's been moved off the front page by way of voters legalizing abortion in the last election. And so the legislation she sponsored that included a 6-week ban, I think, is largely off the table. Doesn't mean that voters aren't going to hold her accountable, responsible, blame her, but voters took that matter into their own hands.
But in the same way that the rural vote seemed like it would have gone to Biggs anyway, that particular vote seems like it would have gone to Biggs anyway.
I agree. And
you're not going to win over any Democrats.
Think about how you win in Maricopa County.
Yes.
He had 2 countywide officials who have endorsed his campaign, the sheriff and the county attorney. Both have been elected countywide. And so they have countywide confidence. And so neither of them have that. And so you got to figure out a way they have to figure out a way to make themselves available to a majority of Maricopa County voters.
Was the scene occur? Was that announcement, did that surprise you?
I wasn't overwhelmed by it. It didn't surprise me.
What do you think? But did it surprise you at all?
No, I assumed he was going to put a woman on the ticket. I mean, not to play demographic politics,
Right.
but I mean, it certainly helps. And he's got a voting record that is concerning to lots of women. And so it makes sense for him to balance that out.
Sideways question here. If John Giles is not the running mate for Governor Hobbs, would that surprise you?
It would. It would. I mean, I know it's not me. So that's really all I'm authorized to confirm.
Yes.
Like, it is not going to be me.
Yes.
But yeah, I would be surprised if it's not.
All right.
Giles.
If it's not, I'm going to lobby for her. Not that would matter in that administration either. But yeah, it's going to be Giles.
Yeah.
And, he's got a track record, a relationship with her. And it's a good pick for her.
So bottom line, Chuck, here, we're talking about Lieutenant Governor here for the first time ever. How important is this position in terms of duties, responsibilities, election, the whole 9 yards? How big a deal is this?
I think it's very tantamount to the vice president. I think that you could look at it in the same way. It's another way to add dimension to the ticket. It's a way to add more dimension, more touchy-feely, more prescribed political constituencies to the ticket. I think he does that for her. That's a really good add-on because he has a competent record of governing in Mesa. He was a good, competent mayor of Mesa, had a good record out there. And he's a nonpartisan guy because as a mayor, you're not part of that swamp. And so I think that's a really good pick for her.
Okay, for her. What about the other side?
I think we've diagnosed that. That's part of the challenge is I don't think but this is Andy, right? Andy's Andy, and Andy's a Freedom Caucus guy. He's a MAGA Republican. He represents one of the most conservative districts in the state, and so it's really up to Andy to broaden that approach out. He didn't use her, in my estimation. The pick of her did not necessarily do that.
Okay, you get the last word on this.
Ooh.
How big a deal is this in all aspects, in terms of duties, responsibilities, and the election?
It is just a risk, right? In terms of what can be added to the ticket, to Chuck's point, you get some other dimensions, you get other expertise, experience, bigger tent. But you just got to make sure it's not Sarah Palin, right? For McCain's ticket.
Yes.
I mean, you really, so much of this is making sure that your selection doesn't reflect poorly. And Mayor Giles, assuming he's the choice, is a great pick.
So we go back to the first thing we said, or you said, was just don't mess it up.
Just don't mess it
That's
up.
the number one priority of the lieutenant
Don't
governor.
be weird. Don't say anything weird. Don't do anything weird.
Yeah.
Don't be weird.
Yeah.
All right. Stacey Pearson, Chuck Coughlin, good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us.
Arizona history, it's happening.
As we love it, we love it.
All Creatures Great and Small on Masterpiece offers audiences a charming escape to the idyllic Yorkshire Dales through the timeless stories of James Herriot. Join us as we go behind the scenes with the cast and creators to celebrate Season 6 and its tales of healing, family, and community in All Creatures Great and Small, Chapter 6.
Sunday night at 7:30 on Arizona PBS.
Look at the two of us.
The Carpenters return.
And yes, we've just begun. Don't you remember you told me you loved me, baby? Rainy days, Mondays always get me down.
Close to you. Remembering the Carpenters.
Sunday night at 11:30 on Arizona PBS.
Great solutions come from very humble places.
I'm Miles O'Brien, and I'm searching the globe for solutions.
This part of the world has 3 wild jaguars.
Undeniably, it's melting. The question is why?
Join me.
Can we adapt?
Yes, we will adapt. There is no choice.
Let's meet the big, bold thinkers
If you have an opportunity to make an impact, why not do it now?
with a resolve to solve.
Coming in August to Arizona PBS.
A rescue mission is underway to help save the Swift Space Telescope, which is falling from its orbit and headed toward a crash into the Earth's atmosphere. An Arizona-based firm was tasked with building a spacecraft to save the telescope, but the company's efforts, they're now experiencing their own set of problems. And to learn more, we welcome Rolf Jansen, a research scientist with ASU School of Earth and Space Exploration. Good to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. What is the latest on this Swift telescope?
The Swift telescope was built for a 2-year mission, and it has lasted for 21 years.
Wow.
It's a marvelous success story, but it does not have its own means of propulsion to raise its orbit and keep its orbit where it is. So over time, its orbit has slowly deteriorated, become smaller, and during the last solar maximum, when the Earth's atmosphere expands a little bit, it experienced more and more drag. So now its orbit is small enough that it's about to re-enter into the atmosphere.
So basically solar activity is the reason that the orbit is deteriorating?
The main orbit in the past 2 years.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's been in the past 2 years, but it seems, is it progressively getting worse and worse and worse?
Yes, because the lower you get in your orbit, the more of this drag you experience, and therefore you start to sort of spiraling in.
Yes.
Every orbit becomes slightly lower than the previous one.
It's basically a death sentence for
It
satellites.
is,
Yeah.
yes.
All right, but this is a telescope now, and an Arizona company has been charged with getting up there, and it sounds like it's got like 3 arms or something, and it's going to grab the thing. What?
That's the idea, yes. It's a little propulsion unit that has a robot that can grab with 1, 2, or 3 arms. It needs to have at least one of the arms, but 3 is better, to grab this satellite, because this observatory was never meant to be serviced, so there are no pre-built grapple hooks.
Yeah.
But from when it was built, it still has some of the handles that were there for humans to, for the engineers to operate on that spacecraft.
So, and it's not to keep the satellite from falling, but correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like it just stabilized that orbit and maybe lift it a little bit to where the thing can't do it itself.
Exactly. So the idea is that once it's grappled and hooked onto the Swift Space Telescope, it can fire its ion thrusters to raise the orbit of Swift to a point where it can last for another 10 years maybe.
Wow, but it would still deteriorate a little bit, but not like what we're seeing
It will,
right
but
now.
as long as you can get it, say, 50 miles higher in an orbit around the Earth, you're safe for 10 years.
All right, so now we have a private commercial company based here in Arizona. NASA said, can you help us? They said, sure we can. We got this 3-arm thing up in there. You're gonna go, what happened? It sounds like there's some problems.
That's right. During commissioning, they experienced some event. We don't know what, but it sent this little spacecraft tumbling. Not super fast, but it was tumbling to a point that it could no longer communicate with the Earth. After 24 hours of no communications, the spacecraft itself decided, okay, I need to reset, something is wrong.
Yeah.
After that reset happened, low bandwidth communications with the Earth were reestablished, and engineers on Earth were able to troubleshoot what's going on. They found out that 2 of the 3 reaction wheels that allow that spacecraft to orient in space are no longer operable. And that also, it's called gas thrusters, which allow you to translate your motion with respect to another object, is also degraded. But the spacecraft was power positive. So even though it was tumbling, it was still generating energy with its solar panels at a rate that was sufficient to keep operational. And that means everything in space. You need time to figure out what goes wrong and what to do about it. So engineers on Earth had time to figure out what to do.
Okay, but this is a big deal, again, because it sounds like if this works with the Swift, this means this kind of repair project can work for other telescopes, satellites, anything going on.
That's correct. It could be a game changer.
Yeah.
You could either make the services provided by commercial satellites cheaper, if you can keep them up longer, or for taxpayer-funded missions, whether it's for national security or for science, you could get more bang for your buck. If you can keep the same operational spacecraft up longer, you don't have to build a new one. You can still get all the value out of that mission without doing much, because this is these rescue missions, they're meant to be pennies on the dollar.
Yeah. But is Swift approaching an orbit of no return?
Yes, if we do nothing, then it's predicted that in October of this year,
Whoa.
it will hit this magical altitude of about 190 miles, where you have enough of this atmospheric friction or drag that there's just no way to control the spacecraft, and you will deorbit.
Okay, and then what happens? Does it burn up in the atmosphere? Does some of it
That's
come
correct.
flying and hitting us? I mean, what's going on?
The Swift Space Telescope is small enough that it will disintegrate and burn up in the atmosphere.
Okay, so there's no really threat to
There's no real
walking
threat
around.
there,
like
no.
that. But it would be nice to get this repair situation done because again, it's a point to the future.
Exactly, and it has been such a successful mission to find all these transient events that don't happen all the time. They happen once in a while, but if you miss them, they're gone. This telescope has been very effective in not only detecting when something special happened, but pointing really quickly to that spot in the sky, measure in X-rays what the afterglow of that event was, and then figure out, okay, in the optical or the UV, what's going on, all in time that telescopes on Earth can then follow up and know where to point.
These gamma ray bursts and all
Exactly.
these massive things out.
Exactly.
Okay, we got to let you go, but are you thumbs up, thumbs down? What do you think? It's going to make it?
I'm still cautiously optimistic that it will make it.
All right.
They have spun down the spin rate quite a lot. It's now only like 1.5 degrees per second.
All right, we got to leave it at that. That's an encouraging word, Rolf Janssen, ASU research scientist. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
All right. And that is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Because kids will always be more curious, Arizona PBS delivers